Well, let's try another Sunday live stream with Simply Lesa. This is number 2 for June 2nd. It says I'm live. So it also says nobody else is here. So let's hold out a few minutes and see if someone comes. Now it says somebody's here. Guys, I'm sorry. It said I was on for 27 minutes on the other one, but y'all disappeared. So here we are. Okay, so we got my solar working seamlessly. Goop dog. Hey, that's Jeremy. So my solar and my refrigerator's running in freezer mode. It runs 24/7. I have to touch it. It works. So my son was able to make me custom wiring so that I have Anderson plugs on the end of many of my things so that I can switch between one thing and another depending on what where I'm using things. So now my refrigerator has an Anderson plug, and I can switch it from the 12-volt male plug to an 8mm plug if something will pull that much power. I have options anyways. And then some of my other plugs are also now we're talking the red and black Anderson plugs. So I'm running the freezer on the 300-watt Rock Pals, and I just don't touch it. It has solar power coming into the Rock Pals from a 100-watt Harbor Freight system. Thank you, Goop Dog. It is now mounted on the back patio roof, and it also has Anderson plugs, and right now it has an 8mm in from those solar panels to the Rock Pals. So that system is Harbor Freight on the roof to the Rock Pals to the freezer, and I don't have to touch it at all. Yay. And the Bowden that Bob had given me years ago is 166, 165, whatever, watt hours, whatever little it is. I use that for all my other stuff, like charging my tool batteries, like my drill, and charging my little rechargeable radio, charging my rechargeable fan, my lights, stuff like that. So, and my phone and whatever, all the little stuff I'm using the Bowdens for. That is still being charged by the 70-watt old panel that is also on the roof. Hi, TJ. So that's all now on the patio roof. So that's 170 watts on the back patio roof. I sacrificed one of my newer, like I bought it last year for the tracker, camping tarps that was really nice. And Josh kept arguing with me on this one. My son, kept arguing with me on this one because he didn't want to take that tarp because it's nice. And he was like, no, Mom, no, we need to put a real roof up there. But the cost of the real roof was too much. So because it was going to be between $300 and $400 to do the roof. And I was like, Josh, that is not the best use of our money right now. So instead of doing that, let's I'll sacrifice this tarp because one, I know it's new. Two, it's rip stop, so the chances of it tearing are less. It's a really good quality tarp. And my son kept saying, I don't want you to. It's too nice. He goes, look, Mom, honestly, I want that tarp for myself. And I was like, let's do this. Let me look it back up on Amazon. And if it was as cheap as I think it was, don't worry about it. I'll just sacrifice it for that. So I looked it up. It's still like $28 for that tarp. He goes, okay, we're doing it. He goes, but send me the link because I want to buy one for at home. I was like, okay. So basically done. So that tarp, I thought it was 10 by 8 by 10 or something. It wasn't. It was only no. I thought it was a 10. I thought it was bigger than 10 feet. And come to find out, some of my tarps were only 6 by 8. This one was 8 by 10. And so we put it up there. So it's really well installed above the back door. It gives me so much more shade in combination with those solar panels. So it's done properly with a there's a metal thing I had that was left over from roofing. Jason will know what I'm talking about. But anyway, we were able to mount that on the roof, on the wall, and then with the tarp under it so that the water will hit the metal, hit the tarp, and it's almost a flat roof. So technically, a 5-inch drop is technically a flat roof. But anyways, so the water will, hit that metal, run down, hit the tarp, keep running downhill. But if it's strong or heavy, it'll probably pool a little bit, but I'm not worried about it. They stretched it good. I'm not worried about it. So we did that. So that's how I now have a dry area just outside the back door. It does not go the whole of the roof, but we were talking about it afterwards. If I feel like I want to, I can buy another tarp. And because my handyman Alex was helping with the project, Alex would be able to lift up the area right under the front, the bottom end of the tarp. He'd be able to add an extension if I want to buy another one. But for now, it gives me 8 feet of rain, snow protection outside that back door for the cheapest amount of money I could do. And a lot of y'all know that most of y'all know that I'm willing to do things differently than the average person so I can still have adventures. And so if the things I choose to do are unconventional, like using this kind of tarp for water protection on the roof, well, one, I can't afford stuff. I'm low enough income, it's hard. So, but it allows, I'm willing to do things differently so that I can have more comforts and things, but so I can still go on adventures. There's that factor as well. Okay. So that's done. And so Tiny, I don't know whether you still have another set of those solar panels, but I know where they're going if you do. Because even though Harbor Freight solar panels, lots of people are like, oh, those things are crap and whatever, they still work. And I don't care that they're 4 panels to make. Okay, on the cabin itself, it doesn't matter to me that it's four small larger panels. I'm not trying to fit them on the roof of a vehicle. And so I want the extra shade is wonderful, plus it pumps power. So I'm not I'm not against that. Plus, there's this other thing I think about, and I don't know whether I've told you guys this or not, but let me share it now. See, in the world of off grid and I still travel life, thank you, Tiny, because know exactly where they're going and how they're going up. So this is a good thing. So the deal is Harbor Freight panels are things people don't want generally. And so if somebody's tooling around out here hunting net properties and looking for people who aren't home and what can we take, the chances of them stealing a Harbor Freight panel are pretty slim, because they're going to look at mine probably and laugh and leave a donation, okay? Because they'll be like, nobody wants Harbor Freight stuff. Not when you could go to my neighbors and get a $20,000 solar system from, if they're out looking to steal things. They're going to steal from the $20,000 system. They're not going to take the Harbor Freight, because they're like, no, I don't want that shit. I want the good stuff. So I'm just saying that is a piece of why it's okay with me, because if I'm gone and I come home and the Harbor Freight one's gone, it's not as bad. Does that make? I know it makes sense, but that makes sense to some of y'all, right? Let me see. I'm reading posts right now. Thank you, Kenneth, for the "I make sense to you" thing, because yeah, okay. All right, I think I'm caught up with y'all. Let me make sure I have all messages. Yeah, I do. I have all messages on, so it should scroll. So, thank you, Jewel, for the comments. That's lovely. Thank you. Um, so so let's see. So that's the stuff we did on the back of the back patio. I'd been wanting to. So sometimes it takes some thinking out loud processing with another person for me to figure out what's the real priority for whatever I'm trying to do. So for quite some time, I had been thinking, crap, I need to put in a carport. I need to. And then I was like, wait a minute, I got solar panels on the vehicles. What do I want a carport for? And then I remembered why. I'm not trying to do a carport. I need shade on the west. I'm not touching the phone, guys, after I lost you once this morning, okay? So you're just going to get the view you've got, okay? But I'm pointing toward the west side of the cabin. The west, there's two small windows on the west side. Those two windows get afternoon sun straight on, and it makes the cabin freaking hot. So the whole purpose of my trying to do something on that side was all about trying to get the sun off that side of the house in the afternoon, the cabin. It's not a house, it's a cabin, because it is so tiny. Um, anyway, so Josh and I talked about it. My son and I talked about it. Man, am I all screwed up after that first video, right? Anyways, my son and I talked about it and finally decided we put a gutter on the west side. I finally know how to put a gutter up. I'd never even like been around a gutter. So I finally know how I could do a gutter by myself. Yay. And then um then we took, I have a used 8x10 Harbor Freight shade cloth. They're only about 70% shade. Anyway, we hung it at the top. My son showed me a way that isn't going to damage the cabin walls. And so it's up at the top now and hanging down at a slant at the bottom right now. And the bottom is just tied to a couple cement blocks temporarily. So for now, that's all I'm doing for that for now. But it keeps this place a good 10 degrees cooler. So that's fantastic. And then we worked on the shower house. So the shower house is developing into a cool project. So the shower house itself, you guys had sort of seen that it's a little bigger than 4 feet square for just the part that is the shower itself. And it's right beside where the IBC tote is, which is, for the moment, the water. So my son reminded me how to put a drain in, how to make the floor that I already started with paver blocks. Paver blocks are like cement in 1 foot squares. Oh, the ones I have are 1 foot squares. And he reminded me how to turn that into something that I can put a drain in to the same bucket that in a minute you'll find out about the other thing I did. And so as going along in the future, when I can afford to, and I run to my local Home Depot, either Sholo, Taylor, Snowflake, or Gallup, I can pick up, if I can afford them, I can pick up 3 or 4 paver blocks at a time. I don't have to buy a whole great big amount. I can begin to pull that together, and then we'll cement instead of like grout, cement them together and put a drain in it. Anyway, so for the moment, we were using my little shower bag that I use for washing my hair. And then we took my jerry can, that tan I think it's 3 or 4 gallon jerry can, 10 liter jerry can. We took that, we modified the pour spout with garden hose stuff. Thank you, my son, for being able to take all these parts I've been saving for forever. Oh, good Lord. But we took all those parts I've been saving for forever. He said, well, that one's cracked, throw that. That one's throw that. So we sorted them all out. Out of all the good stuff, he was able to put some pieces together. And so for right now, I can boil water in the Kelly kettle and put combination of cold water and hot water in that jerry can. The jerry can goes up on a shelf on its side, and you could just open a spigot and have a shower. For now. There's a plan for the future, but big deal. Yay, Jeremy. Talk to you later. So, and you have a good day. So, so we did that. Then I'm looking at that and how I was going to go forward, because I've got these batch composting system toilets to do by the Apache County regulations, rules, directions, whatever. And so I was looking at that and kind of going, I want to take that sink that's on the back porch and stick it in there. So I talked about it with my son for a minute, and well, a few minutes, but not long. You too, Jer. And anyway, so a day later, he was busy doing something. I moved the sink in there. And then one thing turned into another, turned into another. So now the shower house has this nice big shower space. It all needs painting. It's all going to need, decorating and dressing up. But the sink is in there. I was able to go out and wash dishes in like 10 or 15 minutes this morning. What a freaking blessing. So I also learned how to do something else that I've done a lot of stuff, but I don't remember ever using the glue for plumbing. So I learned how to do that. And so my little water pump that you guys saw before is pumping water from the 275-gallon tank. So I don't have to go turn on the tank and get a bucket of water. I just pump water right at the sink inside the shower room, in the shower room. Yeah. And I had enough parts. We had to buy a piece of pipe and glue, plumbing glue, and a couple of adapters. But I had enough stuff. It even has a drain. And the drain now runs to a 5-gallon bucket of rocks that is basically buried in the ground. It'll be more buried soon. I have an adjustment to make to it, but I was able to this morning wash dishes and the drain works and there's no leaks in it. Yay. So, hallelujah. The plan for the future is that we're going to get a marine foot pump for the shower itself. So at some point, the shower will pull from actually 2 places. But we haven't got a final decision of exactly how it works, but we're going to pull water from 2 places. The 275-gallon water pump, water tote that's right there, as well as it's possible it may pull from a source for hot water, which potential is it could be something that's on the roof of the shower house. And the other potential is that it could be that we make a gas water heater into a wood-fired water tank. Because my son understands what I'm talking about. And he says, oh, no problem. I know how to do that. We'll work it out. And I said, yeah, but that's a project for when you're back here again. And he's like, yeah. So he's enough loving this place that he said, if nothing else, we're taking all our vacation here the next few years. So yay. Yay. I don't have to process all these thoughts alone anymore. Anyway, so this morning while I was washing dishes out there, I'm kind of looking, and I went out to brush my teeth, and I have this old 1960 something mirror thing that's, chipped and fallen apart, but it's pretty. It was pretty. I don't care that it's chipped and fallen, but the mirror's fine. Anyways, and so that's going to get painted and dressed up, and it's already hanging on the wall in there. So there's work to do in there. So, whenever somebody comes to visit and they want to play with decorating, painting, stuff like that. The backsplash for the sink is a piece of that copper roofing that I was able to get for free from the factory in Snowflake Taylor. And so I have a couple more pieces, so those will get used. Well, this morning I'm standing there and I'm doing my thing and I'm getting my hair ready for y'all. And I'm like, wow, you know what? There's enough room in the corner of this because I'd already decided once I moved the sink in, then I had already decided that I kind of like having, I've got milk crates stacked that I'm using for the tool stuff right now. But as I do the projects, I'm cleaning out the stuff that's no good, right? Like the plastic things that are dry rotted and the the tools that I'm never going to use, they're in a box for something else. And trash goes in the trash. And so as I'm sorting all this stuff, things like the stuff for painting can go in the car carrier, which may eventually be mounted back on a roof. But I had this car carrier on the roof of this uh, um, shower room for years. And it works really good out here in Apache County because one, it's made for driving down the highway at high winds. And so if you face it the right direction, so I know which way my big winds and storms come from the north. I mean from the west. And so if I face the narrow part of it toward the part that would be on the front of a car toward that direction, the wind just goes over it. The rats won't get in it. The stuff inside doesn't get wet. But things like rollers and things for painting, I can put those inside something in that for storage, and I don't have to see that so much. And it's like right now, that pair of winter slipper boots that I was able to get for $2 when a store closed, I could put those in a bag and put those in storage and not have to trip over them all the time. So that's the kind of things that are happening. Um, and as I clean up those milk crate um, shelves in the shower room, there's enough space. I'm starting to think maybe I could put a little small wood stove in the corner. That would allow me to do things like heat a pot of water for coffee or do a simple meal. And we're talking a small wood stove, but there's enough space for one in there. I might, that's air quotes, might add one to that. Um, because there's enough space there and there's enough space for storage. But it would allow me to do things like keep those cast iron fry pans maybe hanging on the wall or something, but where they don't, cast iron fry pans out here in Apache County, once you use them, if they're not in a bag or something, the sand just sticks to them. And so rather than having to wash them all the time, if they could be in there, then I don't have to wash them so much, which would be kind of nice. So that's all stuff that's happening. And what else did we do? I don't even remember what else we did. There's been well, all the electronic stuff is more together, like I said, but you guys don't even see that. But like I had this, I found this thing. I don't, I'm turning the camera around. So I found this box. Can you see that gray box with the red? I'm trying not to move the phone much, but that gray box with the red, it has a flip lid. It's like an old milkman box. I found it at a thrift store in, I think it was in Springerville, Arizona, for $5. And it was not that pretty, but I put a coat of outdoor paint on it, and it's been living outdoors for a long, long time. We decided that's going to be where a battery will live. So here's the deal. I need a house battery for the cabin. One or two RV Marine sealed AGM batteries, 100 amp hour batteries. One would do wonders. And that box is going to become the battery electronic box. So for right now, the Rock Pals and the Bowden's battery packs are sitting on top, and inside of it is anything that's electronic, so that later on, hi Clint, so that later on we can find the stuff easy that goes with that. But that's going to be the battery box for the future. And so I'd like to have a sealed AGM RV Marine 100 amp hour battery. Not so keen on having a lithium because of the cost and because of the somebody could steal it factor, and what other factors. That's the big stuff. Just keep it simple, and with my power needs, that's enough. And then I'm doing fine, Clint. I'm in Arizona. Take a look at my other stuff. I started a different video first, and somehow it disconnected. And so this is the number 2 live stream this morning. So because the first one just went kaput. So so the so that's what I'm going to need here that I can't afford yet, and I'm not sure what's the right thing to get yet, but that's not a bad thing. So a sealed AGM, 100 amp hour, 100, am I saying that right? 100 watt hour, 100 amp, 100, whatever, watt hour, sealed AGM RV Marine battery is what I'm thinking currently for that box, for the solar that's here. Then, okay, so another friend of mine out in the Nomad world, he's a newer Nomad. Y'all know him, but I was told to be careful how I talk about this as well. I've got a new video to film. He sent me one for, thank you, TJ. I'm like, so he bought for himself because he's going to need it for his new CPAP. But he has solar currently on the RV he's living in. But he wanted to help me and take advantage of a sale that he found. And so he bought an EcoFlow Delta 2 battery pack and sent it to me for me to review, use, and hold on to until we meet up again or he's ready for it. So you understand he got a really good deal on it because I guess right now they're having some sales. And that battery pack is probably worth $1,000 or something. I know he got a deal, and I can't remember if he got it for 800 or 900, but still. So I've got that in my possession, but I part of my responsibility is to do an unboxing and use video for that. I don't know what I'm gonna plug into it, to be honest with you, right now, because right now all my stuff's working really good. But we'll see what happens. So I mean, because there's so much power in that little box. But one of the reasons this person sent it to me, the other thing they were thinking was, Lesa, I think that'll fit in the footwell of the white tracker perfectly. And that would give you a crazy great amount of power in the tracker to have something like that. You might be able to get away with using some other electronic things for things like keeping warm on a cold night where I'm allergic to propane, maybe even for some cooking things or something. So I don't know, but it's a very cool opportunity, and I appreciate that person trusts me with something that doesn't belong to me, to care for it and to test it and use it. until they need it. So what a blessing to be, respected enough that somebody wants to one help me that much, and to, well, anyway, so I have that in my possession to work with. What else? Let's see. I found a guy on Facebook Marketplace that happens to have the blue plastic barrels that are already painted with house paint. Why do I want a blue barrel that's painted with house paint? First off, when I walked through Home Depot with my son last week, the price of house paint like jumped like into a scary mode, because I used like Bare Premium when I did this cabin, because I know what good paint can do for wood. So I'm going to have to pay a lot of freaking money for a gallon of freaking paint, but that's okay, because it's a protective thing. It's like investing in a good tool. So that being said, when I build the batch composting toilet systems that I have gotten the free permit for from Apache County, one of the things you have to do to the plastic barrels is you have to test them that they're not dry rotted. Lay them on their empty ones on their side, press a certain way. If they have a certain amount of give, then they're safe. Okay. But you have to paint them with house paint. I found a guy on Facebook Marketplace that has them already painted in Concho for $20 a piece. And nobody wants them because they're painted. I want them because they're painted and I don't have to buy the paint yet. So my handyman and the guy that has them and my handyman are talking about, the handyman has a job in Sholo like sometime this week, Wednesday or something. And so they're arranging it so that I'll give him money and he can pick them up with his pickup truck, so that I have pre-painted barrels to build that out of. I've also decided that rather than adding on to the shower house for the place for those barrels to live, I'm going to build a second little structure. So first I'll do the barrels. During the doing the barrels process, the county will come inspect them, and then I can build the thing around them, because the county doesn't care what the structure around them looks like. So they will inspect them prior to being half buried in the ground, and then I can bury them, and then I can build the roof over the structure around them. So yay. So that's that project coming up. I also am able to save the red 1 gallon funnel I had bought a long time ago. That one I'm thinking, because it's not dry rotted, that one I think I will mount in the bathroom compost toilet house. I'll mount that with a small water tank somehow on the wall. That'll be the hand wash station. And that will again run the way I do things. Those things will run with a drain pipe to a bucket of broken cement blocks, rocks, whatever, so that if somebody decides to brush their teeth in there, it's not stinky, and I don't have to worry about some animal coming up through the drain. I just take care of things because it could be here a long, long time. This is a legal way to live in Apache County. I designed this cabin to be a dry cabin. I also designed it to be under the 200 square feet, and I do not live here 24/7 all year round. So this is how you do it. Oh, I shouldn't have monitored the message. That was probably you, Beth. Um, Thank you, Beth. So I have okay. So where are we at? What do you guys want to know now? Um, my health doing good. There's some things about my health that I'm realizing are connected with my relationships with people. So I can tell a difference in how I feel once I reconnected with Josh, with my son in a real time. Um, it's like there's a different level of calm I can have, and so um, there's something to that. I think there's also something to the fact that now it's much easier to just do everyday things that have been so freaking hard to do. Y'all have been with me watching me go through how hard it is to do anything. The weather here is incredible, but it's even more than that when you don't have the systems in place. It's so freaking hard to it's so hard to use the bathroom and wash your hands, and then you got to figure out how are you gonna wash dishes, and it's a whole it's a whole thing. So wow, is it easier all of a sudden, bam, easier. My son works like I grew up working hard. Hard, get her done, quit fooling around, don't talk about it for 8 days, hurry up, let's get this. Unfortunately, he's used to working in a factory in a controlled environment that they keep at a certain temperature year round. And so when he was up on the roof and I'm going, Josh, please drink. Oh, crap. Uh, Son, please drink. Here, I'm throwing you a bottle of water. Okay, got it. Thanks, Mom. Right? And then he's going, my leg hurts. And I'm like, you won't use sunscreen? Nope, won't use sunscreen. Okay, you may need aloe later. Yeah, okay, all right. He gets off the roof and he's like blistering. Uh, the construction crack was blistering. The tops of his hands were blistering. The backs of his legs. He was in pain. But so sunburns happened, but we did the best we could. And before he left, he was able to take a really great, well, more than one. He was able to take a number of really good showers, and we were able to put aloe on his owies. But I think he has a different respect. He wears contacts, so his contacts were drying out really fast. So he was getting a healthy respect for. Wow, next time I need eye wet and drops. I will send an Amazon order to your house so I don't have to worry about the airport. But like, I need re-wet and drops for my contacts. I need to take care of this and not get sunburned like this. So he had a healthy respect and an understanding because he also saw how fast things disintegrate and the plastics disintegrate in the sunshine. And he was like, now I see why all your chairs in your backyard that are the good chairs, they're all metal. And I'm like, yeah. Oh, and I'm hunting for, I'm going to try to show you something and hopefully we won't disappear. Can you see that lawn chair right there on the back patio with the arms on it? That metal one? It has those curly, I'm afraid of moving it any more than that, okay? But I'd like to have a couple more of those metal lawn chairs. If y'all see them somewhere and you're coming this way or you're, not too far away, let me know because I mean, I don't have money for them today, but if I could have two of those metal lawn chairs on the front porch, that would be great. And then if I could have two or four of them in another location back here in the backyard, I so would have those because they're comfortable. Everybody who comes here, even the big guys who are like, I break lawn chairs, I don't want to sit in your chairs, they'll sit in that one. And I have one other metal chair that they'll sit in as well. So, but those are the chairs for here that are going to stay here that I'm looking that I'm looking to keep here for the property, right? And then out on the top of the ridge, there's a spot that I like for like a coffee spot, right? To go up and just sit and watch the elk. If I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I can make a quick cup of coffee, go up there, sit and watch the elk. That is so freaking nice. I want two because of when company comes. I want two metal benches for up there. And I want some kind of enclosed fire pit. And I'm saying enclosed as in like mesh enclosed. I've seen one on Facebook Marketplace. No, on Amazon that is I think they called it pagoda style, like oriental, like, but it's kind of a tall ish, but it's just like expanded metal with a door on one side so you can access it, and then just a little roof thing so that the water won't get in it. But I think that because of the wind and how cold it can be, I think we don't need to cook up there. You just carry up your coffee cup when you go, and just to make that area more pleasant. I think that's a really good idea. I have yacked about these things for how many minutes now? So 20 minutes now. Um, I have not decided about the fire pit in the backyard at this time. My son so loved having the hammock. He was able to relax a couple of times and just hang in the hammock and talk to his wife and his kids. And so that's wonderful. Um, uh, Kittens. Somebody asked me about kittens. Yes, they came. They're both little black kittens. They're awful small still. Um, I've had them in the garden room because I didn't do anything with the garden room. I have not planted it. I have not decided what I'm doing this year, but I'm not worried about it because I'm so busy with other stuff. Figure it out later. Um, so I put the kittens in there because their mother abandoned them a few weeks ago. So they were already on solid food, but it was kitten or puppy food, little tiny food, and drinking water. And the neighbor who gifted them to me um, brought me a little container of cream for them for the first couple of days. So they did that. They had cream, and then my son had bought some cans of tuna fish because he wasn't sure how he was going to eat because we weren't sure about the freezer. Anyways, so he poured the juice out of his tuna fish, on food for them. And then one of the days we went shopping, he bought them a nice big bag of cat food. So they've been in the garden room with the door hooked so that Wendy can see in a crack about this big, about an inch or so in the bottom of the door. She can watch them, but she can't get to them or couldn't get to them. So the whole time they'd been here, it had been, Wendy, I taught her a while back, Wendy, stay calm and just watch. And so she'd just lay there and watch them through the crack of the door. When I'd go in to feed them, I was teaching her, Wendy, stay back. No, you can't come in. And she would stand up. She can barely see over the metal bottom part of the um, garden room. And so she would stretch to try to see them when they were getting fed and when I'm fixing their water. And so a couple of days ago, I went to go in and she snuck in behind me. And I was like, Wendy, I worked hard to keep my calm, right? I was like, Wendy, no, you have to go out. And she did. She let me touch her. She let me pick her up. She let me put her outside. She wanted to see awful bad, but she knows the shop cat at Stan's Auto, and she was raised with cats. With cats, so at Stan's, the cat's name is Smokey. I call him Smokey Doke. Anyway, so she and Smokey have this understanding. He's on a leash. Oh, well, Wendy's on a leash. Smokey owns the shop. That's the way it works. So we come in and she can get close, but she knows that uh, Smokey's way bigger than her. If Smokey took one swipe, her nose would not be the same. So she has a respect. They stay a distance, but they both say hi to each other. And Smokey has a couple of times, had the claws ready, but he just, and she just, talks to him, not barking, just talks. She does this talking thing. Anyway, so with the kittens, she tried to do the same thing and she wants to play with them so bad. And she gets so amped up. She's like, ah, blah, blah, blah. And then she'll come outside and she'll run zoomies in the yard because she's just so excited. So, oh my goodness, Beth. There you go. Yes, Wendy has been a blessing. Absolutely. So, yeah. And Smokey has a relationship with. But it's funny. Wendy goes in, the two of them, Wendy has more than one place. Wendy will just lay down on the floor and just wait. And she'll sit near Stan's feet. Smokey will be up on the desk. Smokey will be in one of the chairs. Wendy's on the floor. They just get along. They have an understanding. And so I think from what I'm seeing, she gets it with the cats. And one of these cats is feisty. I haven't named them. There's no whatever. But one of them just goes all the time. Now, I've picked her up a couple of times and she has figured out that I feed her. So I can get near her. But she's all claws and but yesterday, day before, the day Josh went home. So Friday, almost sunset, so almost Sabbath. I looked out and I was like, I heard Wendy kind of making some sound, but it wasn't a bark, and she was in the house with me. And I was like, what's going on? And I looked out, and here's this little black kitten like walking across by the hammock. I was like, what the freak? She came right up to the window right here, right? And I was like, oh, she heard me talking on the phone or whatever I was doing. And she figured out how to get out. There's a spot where the wind had caught the door on. No, they don't have a dog bed there. They have a cat bed for Smokey, but like on top of the microwave or something. But they don't have it. This is just the way Wendy does things. This dog has been great. I just love her personality. Anyway, she's so much easier than my old Aussie was, and I loved Aussie too. But anyway, so there was part of that front wall where the door is that the wind had caught it because I didn't close it right. And I was working on something, and then this dust devil came up. Anyways, and it yanked against the wall and pulled all the staples out of the hardware cloth. So there's a spot maybe 5 or 6 inches where the hardware cloth is separated from the wall. And she must have climbed up there and climbed through that to get out. So now, once she did that, and I realized that Wendy went out, was fine with her, was just kind of talking to me, like looking at me, talking, looking at the cat, and kind of like trying to play with the cat and doing that like bounce down thing they do with their legs. Um, and I realized she either wanted to play or she wanted the cat to go be safe. So, I'm outside with them and I'm watching what's happening. And so I propped the door open a little bit with some boards and a cement block so the wind can't catch it and Wendy can't get in closer to them. But they have their safe place where their food and water and their little bed is for the moment. And they can come and go and play. And they were out all night and this morning. And Wendy has gone and been out with them. And sometimes she goes out and they'll run right back inside where they're safe. And sometimes they'll just go back where she can't get her nose close to them, but they'll hiss at her. But they're just the two of they're just nose to nose sometimes. So I think this is going to work out well. So that's the story about what's going on with the kittens and having them in there where I'm not going in every single day to see them. That is teaching them that they need to be here without me sometimes. So, okay, another factor, if you're squeamish about rodents and whether things are dead or alive, plug your ears or put mute on and don't listen for a minute. But I have 3 bucket traps out right now. Bucket traps, in my humble opinion, the way it works so well for me is I put 5 or 6 inches of water in the bottom of a bucket. I smear peanut butter on, just some peanut butter. I don't do it all the way around. I just smear some. And geez, I got a jar of peanut butter that's probably 4 years old. So it's probably pretty gross and, whatever. I just take a stick and smear it above the water. And then I put that in the edge of a tree and I put a ramp for the rodents to crawl on. They'll crawl on it to the top of the bucket. They'll stretch their bodies down to eat the peanut butter and they'll fall in and they'll drown. That's why I'm saying if nobody I'm going to say the same thing. Beth, I'm just reading what you said. I think we better just stop stressing about my son's name. I think so too. So anyway, so the other day I had 7 bodies to dispose of. And so I took one of those bodies because there's no poison involved and I dropped it in with the kittens. I haven't even seen a bone from that body. And then one day, Miss Wendy had a baby rodent and it was almost dead, but not quite. And so we dropped that in with the kittens, and I haven't seen anything of that either. So I think these kittens are going to be good mousers. So that's my story, and we're sticking to it. So I hope that didn't gross anybody out, but that's why they're here. Yeah, I'm going to stop worrying about it, Beth. Besides, they don't know who. But anyway, so that's what's going on. So I have one gutter on the cabin, and basically I'm going to need to buy a downspout piece from the gutter. The little part of the downspout, the starter part, is on, but I need the actual long piece. So that one gutter is going to the black barrel. And then now that I know how to install gutters, I'm so glad he helped, because I'm so glad he taught me how to do that. So now I can do the other ones, and I can do it piecemeal because gutter's not super expensive, but I just have to plan ahead, and then I have to figure out where the water's going. I mean, eventually I'll have the water going into totes or something. But right now it's like, well, okay, there's a barrel, we can go in there. So um, I will stay on top of the worming. I have worming for Wendy. I just have to do it for the cats. Um, so the roof on the shower house will need to be finished as well. But my handyman Alex will help with that. He told me he'd bring his grinder one day, so that some the one part of the roof on the shower house is long, and I think those panels are 8 inches long, but there's a big hole like this on the back side. And so if we could cut those at 6 feet and then just unscrew the roof and move it back a little bit, then we have a better thing for rain catchment off of that, which can go straight into the IBC tote. And then over the shower part itself, I want to put two clear panels, and I'm saying clear, either clear or green or smoke color, but those corrugated ones that you can see through. That way we don't have to have a window, and you can see everything you want to do most of the time. So so once that all is like that 6 foot panel, then because that's not much money. I think those 6 foot panels are somewhere around, say, $25. They may be a little cheaper. And then we cut those other couple. And then we basically, that roof will be ready for gutter. Gutter stuff's not that expensive. I mean, it's still a cost, but so we're saying, so say 40, say maybe 50 or $60. Probably 50. Say, let's say 50. Meh, let's say 50-ish bucks. Should, maybe 60. Let's say 60 to be safe. Let's say $60 to finish the roof and the rain catchment off the shower room. And then I'm left doing floors. So that's pretty cool. And wow, when any of my people, hi Robert and Nancy, when any of my people that do get invited and come to visit, it'll be so much nicer here for the visiting people. Because, when you come to see somebody and you live in a nomadic or overlanding vehicle or whatever, it's nice to have a shower in a bigger space that's kind of comfortable, and not have to worry about, whether you have enough water in the jug or whatever. Sometimes that's a blessing. And sometimes just being able to put your hot dogs and hamburgers on the campfire, because I have the neat campfire, and be able to sit around and talk with other people. Sometimes that's just lovely. Or to be able to walk up where there's this beautiful view, and maybe even see elk or something. I mean, it's just, so that's where I'm going with this stuff. So um we've kind of decided between Josh and I. We walked around, we found about 10 sites that have often been sites people have camped in, or whatever. Um, and we're talking, now I own 10 acres of land, but only about a third of that is accessible by vehicle. So, um, so the area up here, there's some places that are beautiful and make a beautiful place to have like a yurt or a dome or something like that. But it's so windy that if you don't have something that's, the right shape up there, it's going to get destroyed by the wind. And so there's other spots that are like, maybe my road won't be an actual like road like most people have for maybe another 80 years. But when it does, you wouldn't want to be seen. You don't want to be right on the road. I mean, when you're in such beautiful country, rural place, I wouldn't want to be that close to the road. So we walked around, we looked at some places, and Josh said, Mom, could I? Could we think about building something so that one, when we come to visit, we can start to be in our own space? And two, when something does happen with you, then we already have a really good start on our home before we move there. And I'm like, that's why I invited you to look. Let's see what's possible, because I'm going to still travel. It's who I am. And I'm still going to not want to be here during the super muddy time of the year. Um, so I may choose to be here to save money or something like I currently am. But so we looked it all over. Yes, he like me does do that thinking ahead stuff too. So we basically kind of decided in a loose kind of way that where the garden room is right now. Yes, ma'am. What do you need? Do you want to come up? Do you have water, right? Do you want to go outside? What do you want? Come see mama. What do you want? 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 What do you want, Miss Thing? What do you want? And you should give mama hugs. Oh, mama talking on the phone. I know. It's what we do every Sunday. That's a nice hug. Oh, that's a nice hug. If you look the other way, there you go. People can see your face and your eyes. Oh, I'm going to get all licked to death. So we're going to take the space. Most likely, he's going to take the space where the garden room is, and start thinking about the design of how his home would blend with mine while I'm alive, and then move on when I pass. We also made the decision. Now, this one I'm going to have to do a little work on, because I'm not, the details of how to do this, I don't have exact yet. But I found out years ago that in Apache County, depending on where your property is, you can, for a small fee, designate a piece of your property to be a graveyard. And we talked about that. This makes my end of life stuff easier for all of us. So I have so much stuff that is already filmed, and we will be filming all of that stuff, Miss Iris. But I have so much stuff now that I have all the trip stuff from when I went with Stan up to get the white tracker. I have lots of stuff. I just haven't put it together because everyday life has been so hard. When you're not able to wash dishes and fix food, and when you have to check your freezer or refrigerator every 20 minutes to make sure it's still running. 2 years I did that. That is so much that it's hard for a person. You have water. Okay. You have a drink of water here. Okay. She may want to go out. Do you want to go outside? Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. So that kind of, Do we want to call it sacrifice? I don't know. But my choosing to go ahead and live alternatively and accept the challenges so that I can save money, so that I can do things differently. That's how I'm able to have the things I have and live the life I live. Because otherwise, on now, now this year, it's $1,100 per month. That's the only way I can do this, is by doing it in an alternative way. Because it's you, the average person who has the low income that I do at my age can either have a car or have a home, but they can't have both. And usually the home is an apartment and it's like Section 8. I don't want to live where Section 8 is. Been there, done that, don't want to do that. So there you go, Beth. You're still living it. So, I agree. By the way, do I dare touch the phone again? Let's see. I'm not moving it far. I know you see that pepperoni. Saying, here, use this for Wendy. Can you see her laying there? Now, the kittens can get out. Of course, they're napping right now. But like, she would lay right there with them. That's how good she's doing with those kittens. I'm very pleased that she has her kind of attitude. So it's it's hard. It's been super hard. Like I said, 2 years, every 20 minutes or so, I got to check the fridge. I'm driving down the road with the fridge in the back of the car, and I'm listening to find out if it's still plugged in. Because if it isn't, I'm going to lose all the food. So, what do I have to do? Okay, so the fridge is off, and I can't make it stay on. So, that's how I've been maneuvering for 2 years. I can't keep it on. Okay, well, we're going to have to cook it all today. It's like, okay, so I cooked it all. Now we got to let it all cool down before I can put it back in. That's been hard. Okay, deep breath, back to the other stuff. So, uh, this is kind of cool, exciting. And the very last thing that we did with Josh when he was here was we went down to St. John's Thursday afternoon while it was hot so we could run the air conditioner. No, it was cool enough here. We would have been fine, but um I was like, Josh, I just one more thing, and I'm sorry that you don't want to go, but please get in the car. I'm going to run the air conditioner. You can put the seat back and sleep. We went down to the shop. He was able to meet Stan and Stanley and the guys at the shop. Jeremy, he met everybody. And I took him out back. I showed him the tracker. I showed him the engine parts. He was so happy when he saw how clean the engine head is that Mike from Boss Custom up in Nevada had cleaned in his, I forget, steam cleaner or something. I forgot what it's called. But anyways, Mike like put that engine, cleaned it, put labeled, put all that stuff together so it was ready for a machine shop. And so when Josh saw that, he was like, Mom, I still think trackers are a piece of crap. But he said, I understand what you're trying to do now. And I think you're doing the right thing for you in your situation because of your income and everything else. So there, we had a lot of those conversations because he was like, but mom, just, and I'm like, Josh, I can't afford it. That's why I've been saving all these little scraps of plumbing stuff, hoping I could figure out a way to make a shower run. Oh, did I finish telling you that as we go forward on the shower, we're looking at putting in a foot pump? I think I told you. I think I told you. Anyways, so that you get some pressure and you don't have to keep filling a jug. It's gonna be nice. So because we don't mind filling a jug when we're on the road. But when you're here, you want to rest. So yeah, so I was able to take him down. He met all the guys, and Stan was able to take some time and took Josh aside and talked to him. And so they both have an understanding, and so Josh came away from it with, I still think trackers are crap, but right. And so that was important to me for a number of reasons, but the big one was at least he knows what I'm talking about. I wanted him to see it with his own eyes. So he has a face with a name and he has an idea what the vehicle is I'm talking about instead of just guessing. And so, and then I was like, okay, now I don't care if we drive home 10 miles an hour because I'm done. We've done everything that was on my list. And, and he goes, well, I'm hungry now. Can we go find some place to eat? And he's used to restaurants and stuff. So I took him into Diddy's in St. John's, and I'd never been in there before. And I wasn't that hungry, but I ate sweet potato fries and had water. And he had a burger with jalapenos and cheese, and it looked good. And some kind of fries with steak and cheese and stuff on it, and whatever. Anyways, he ate good, and then Wendy got a doggy bag, and we made our way home slowly. So yeah, so that's it. Helps that many of us are the children of depression era parents and grandparents. Waste not, want not. Right? Yeah. Yes, and I have to keep reminding myself stuff I put out in our group all the time. And I'm forever putting out use what you already have, travel light and often, those kinds of things. That whole I don't care about that sounds bad when I say it that way, but I kind of don't care about the reduce, recycle, whatever. Yeah, whatever. People are going to do what they want to with trash. But look, a lot of trash isn't exactly trash. So look it over and see if you can reuse it before you throw it away or whatever. And so I do. And that's why I've had that pile in the yard that grew over a couple of projects. But now, slowly, actually, pretty quickly right now, all of that stuff is a bag at a time. It's going to a dumpster, so it's being taken care of. So I was able to take all those slats from those old doors that had fallen apart that were shutter doors. All those slats have now become firewood. uh, I decided I'm not going to rebuild them because I decided something different to do. And it would have been a lot of work to rebuild and not really worth it in the end. So I have still the conduit, the ABS, the gray conduit that's plastic, not the one that's metal, that I had bought for a shower curtain years ago. I still have that. So there'll be a nice shower curtain that will separate the sink where I was washing dishes this morning from the shower itself. That'll give people the feeling of more privacy. Or if, like, for example, a husband and wife want to go, she wants to do something in that kitcheny sink area, and he wants to be taking a shower, it can happen. So, and temporarily, I'm still using buckets until I get those barrels here and start working on getting the lids made for the barrels. Once the lids made for the 2 or 3 barrels, depending on how many Alex wants to pick up. Um, then the county can come inspect those. Then I can place them where I want them, and that's one thing. So that's all good stuff. So that's where we're at. I am going to be looking for either a wash tub or like a metal wash tub or a whiskey barrel, half a whiskey barrel thing. I want to put very close to on top of the bucket where the drain from the kitchen sink and the shower go. I want to put some herbs and stuff in there. And so I want to do a series of plant pots and either a whiskey barrel or a something in that area. So, um, the one and only Nicole, you need to go away. No, I'm not. And to me, that's an offensive question. I don't take offense easily, but I would prefer that you ask the question a different way if you want to be here. Um, yeah, a lot happened and I've been tired. So, I'm not showing you on the floor right here beside me because I have a pile of that's the electronics I need to do something with, and they probably should go in this uh, thing that's going to be the battery box until I can deal with them. But let me double check the batteries in them before I do that. And two of them maybe need to be thrown away. Yeah. And then, that thing over there was, oh, I needed that hat for myself, the straw hat for when I was out in the sun. Oh, yeah. And the Wii Boost needs to go out in a car because the Wii Boost is going to get mounted on the white tracker. So stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. And so I have these piles of where I'm sorting things now because things are finally happening. Finally. It feels like it feels like it's been so freaking long. Well, think about it actually. It was my birthday last year when the tracker broke down on my actual birthday when I turned 65. And my birthday is June 29th. So we are almost at a month. And Wendy has been with me for 6 months now. And the help a dog out rescue is still dragging their feet about getting her spayed. I wish they'd pay attention. If Cece's watching my videos, she might want to know that I already got the shots and the chip on my own. So that's been a hassle. And the latest message she sent me, I'm starting to not want to believe her. And that's why I'm starting to use the names. But come on, I've been nice about this for 6 months. Okay. And that's a lot in the world of the way things work most of the time. So I know that I've been really nice for 6 months with this whole thing. And so just freaking pay for this pay, you know. But she's not going to go much longer. I mean, I hate to change her personality. I love this little dog. But if we're traveling, I don't need to have to watch for dogs humping her and stuff. That would be hard. So I don't want to do that. Okay, well, I just want to like I feel like we're done. I don't know. Do you have more questions? What can I do to help you have a better week, a better whatever? Do you need ideas for stuff you're doing? Am I being encouraging? How can I hold your hand a little bit? Um, Thank you, Catherine, for when you moved that you saved me that basket for hanging veggies. I can't wait to have that. That's cool. I love those. I don't know why I love them as much, but I do. So, whatever. But I'm starting to look at that little space where the sink and the window is in the shower room as more than just the shower. I'm looking at it going, yeah, a little tent wood stove in there once the floor's fixed, right? And a little that would make it like so super simple to do a couple of things in bad weather. So maybe I'll make that even more cool. Course, of course, I imagine that the kittens as they grow up will be in and out of that space because it's well protected, and they may choose that as their place to live as other things change. So, yeah. But anything I can talk about that can help you guys? Has my talking about what I did today helped in any way? I hope it's encouraging at least. Sometimes you be trying to do stuff for forever and forever and forever, and then you wait and you wait and you wait and you're like, God, why can it be easier yet? Please, can it be easier? Why does it have to take so long? And then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of stuff gets done like that. And so who knows, but it's what happens. And if you're trying to keep cooler and you're a nomad and you're in Arizona, that thing that I have done to the cabin is what I used to do to my vehicles. If you can prevent the sun from touching the glass to start with, so any shade that's between the sun and the glass will help you be cooler. And so, I mean, back when I was in the Honda Passport, Bob Wells did some videos with me back then that were, how to live on $250 a month, because I may have had $600 or $700 a month income at that point, but I was paying off debt. And so I had to live. I made myself a budget that was $250 a month, and I wouldn't go over it. That's how much gas and everything. So um, I actually used to go to thrift stores, and for a quarter, I would buy king size bed sheets, and I would use clothespins or clips, or sometimes at Walmart, I was able to get on sale the clips you use to keep your towel on the back of a lawn chair, and it would fit over the roof rails things, and just put a bed sheet and stick it out and put it over a tree, clothespin it to a tree. I did all kinds of things, but I mean that's when I was, you know, wasn't new to it, because I'd lived in a van in 1978 in Virginia, in Richmond, Virginia. Not popular, not a thing. But I knew the hippies lived in school buses way back in the 60s. And so it wasn't a new idea. But anyway, no, Robert and Nancy, thank you so much. Lisa, we would like to send you a birthday gift. Is your Amazon wish list updated? It is not updated. I do need to do that. Thank you. I will try to spend some relaxing time updating my wish list. And I think I will put things, for example, like the foot pump for the shower, things like that. I'll try to put those on that wish list, or whatever I'm thinking, right? Um, Iris, your question was, have I ever used the shade cloth? Absolutely. Like, you see shade cloth at the cabin. So, is your question, have I used it when I lived in the vehicles? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Harbor Freight shade cloths. The smallest one is, I think, an 8x10, and they're around $20. Okay. And they're only 70% shade. But on a small enough vehicle, you can almost go from the ground up this over the side, across the top, and down on the other side. You could do a lot of that. They have grommets in them already, like tarps, so you can put tent stakes in them, or tie them like they were tent stakes. So another thing that I did, Iris, is I bought, for $12, you can get a set off of Amazon. I don't know that you can buy them in a store that you can walk into, but off of Amazon for about $12, you can buy a set of these big suction cups. The way they work is you squeeze a handle on them and it releases them to come off. And you clean the car, the place on the car where you're going to put them down and squeeze them, and it sucks it really hard. The glass guys use these to move windshields around with, and they're like $12 for a set on Amazon. I put those on the roof of cars, on the hood of cars, because they don't come off in the wind. As long as you got to clean the dirt off and then stick them to the car. And then you can tie on to them, because the Harbor Freight shade cloths that I buy, I always try to buy shade cloth or tarps that have grommets. Now I also carry a grommet kit with me in case something happens. So the sunshade SRR is I forgot your name. Yeah. I on my store, I believe the only sunshade that I have out there is Illuminette. Now, Illuminette for the car is the bomb. Okay. I'm just saying, if you're not trying to be stealth, if you don't care that somebody sees you and you're in Arizona and you can afford Illuminette, the one I found that should be in my actual Amazon store, Illuminette, is silver. If you put that over a portion of your car, the temperature in your car is going down 20 degrees. Now, again, I bought one that was smaller and that has grommets. So same way of installing it on the car. Use your roof racks, use those suction cups, and then use tent stakes and stuff. Illuminette, correct. That's correct. I have a piece, but oh wait, it might be right here in this bag. I was gonna say it's not in the house, but wait, I think it's in this bag. Winter coat. No, it's not in this bag. Nope, not in here. Nope, sorry, I can't show it to you. But it's silver. It's silver, and that stuff, oh man, that works like no, that is wonderful. And then if you have a set of at least 2 tent poles, if you could get adjustable ones, that's wonderful. In my humble opinion, what is it, Elephant brand? Okay, the something Elephant brand, they're telescopic, but you twist them to lock them. They twist lock. I don't like those. In my experience, they only last a year. I'm not trying to spend $50 every year just to have 2 tent poles. So I try to find other adjustable kinds. Now, the old kind of Coleman and Coughlin's, they had I don't know how to explain it. There was a piece of metal on the tent pole that had a hole in it. And so you had to depress it and put the pole the height you wanted and then let go of it. And when you let go, it like tightened on the pole. And that's what held it in its up or down position. When they were closed, I forgot what length they were. Miko, I don't think that SSR's name is Miko. I don't think that I put tent poles out on my Amazon store because I have struggled with having a set that I really love. One of the last sets I get comes apart in pieces, but is not shock corded. And part of the reason I got those was because some of the vehicles, because I love my small SUVs, some of the vehicles, when the wind's blowing really hard and it's raining and it's whatever, I want to put it as low down as I can from the car, but still open the door. Okay. And so I want a short pull, but I don't want to like mess them up. So I like the ones with the little button in them, but there are some days when my grip is off. And so I have to depress the button with something. I use a tool. Okay. But if I can have the separate pieces, I like shock corded ones. But if I have to mount it 2 sections high or 3 sections high because of the wind, if it's shock corded with the elastic, it'll cut it where you bend it. And so that doesn't work good. So I hope that's helpful. But the whatever it is elephant brand, in my humble opinion, that twist lock stuff, don't do it, because you just have to buy another set. I wish we could get the old Coughlin's and Coleman ones more. So I keep watching for those. But when you pack them, instead of only being a foot long like some of the ones I have now, they're like 3 feet long. That's a different kind of annoyance. So I don't know if that stuff's been helpful. But yeah, I so love that Illuminate. Now, know that I've had my Illuminate probably 4 or 5 years with no problem. But I am very careful and choose when to use it. If the wind is super strong, like if you were at Burning Man and you used it more than 2 or 3 years, it's going to start to fall apart and blow little people. Yes, Iris, I actually own a painter's pole that's 16 feet tall. I used it to put the Wii Boost tall enough on the roof here. And I've used it to hold up the center of tarps before with like a tennis ball on its top. They work really well if you can afford them and or if you have the space to put them, to store them. They don't pack down tiny, short. My birthday is June 29th, 1958. Now you all know. And I was born in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, but my family lived in Elliott. So, yeah, I will go look, Robert and Nancy especially. I will go look at my wish list probably this afternoon, because after my live stream, I often am tired that day. And I'm kind of like, man, I don't want to do anything. So I'm a baby. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm a baby. Thanks, Mary. Oh, my son was so, oh, I didn't show you this. I don't have to change the phone, but look what he did. He moved the light from outdoors to in here, and then he mounted the new one I had bought out on the back patio. I love that light that is black, that hangs, that pendant lamp. It has its own solar panel. That one I love. The new okay, let's see if I can do this. The new one out there, can you see that white one outside? I can see it. The round right in the middle of the ceiling. Okay, that one, bummer. I was hunting for a flush mount one for outside. I wasn't going to move the black one originally, but anyways, I bought that one thinking it was going to be as cool as the pendant one. And I thought I would put it on the front porch. Well, poop head. So each of these lights comes with their own solar panel and their own rechargeable batteries internally in their things. It's something I'm big on. I also have a budget thing. I'm not buying one if it's over 30 bucks. So it's got to be $30 or under. It's got to have rechargeable batteries that I can change, and it has to have its own solar panel. That way, no matter what's going on with my solar system, the lights still work. Okay. So the white one that's outside, bummer. It has some weird programming thing with the remote control. And so every night it comes on and I have to turn it off. I'm not in love with that. Josh was like, "Oh, mom, I love these, but I don't love the way that one works." Same thing. So I'm going to be hunting for something different. And I don't know where we're going to use that, but it's useful, just not for where it is. It's not motion sensor. So that, well, I wouldn't have wanted that one to be motion sensor. But the fact that I got to turn it, I got to change the setting every night. And it's either that there's something I haven't programmed right, and maybe it could go in the shower room if I can figure out the programming, or I'm just going to have to replace it and it needs to live with somebody who's going to use it inside their house. Like it wouldn't, yeah. Anyways, so, uh, and I'm pretty certain that I put those out in the Amazon store, but I need to check those. I need to check the store stuff again. Um, I'm not getting paid by Amazon at all. I don't know why, because I know you guys are using my links. But for some reason, I'm not getting credit for it or something. I don't know why, but whatever. Deep breath on that one. That's I'm gonna put Beth to work here pretty soon, probably. My lips are so dry I can see it. Um, and I have a sore, so I'm kind of in a mood, but I didn't find. Oh, I broke two mason jars in the last month. Didn't have the grip right on my left hand, and I have to watch that because it's my weaker side of my body. Although I'm pretty feeling pretty strong right now, but I was trying to put them in the sink, and I lost them, and that's a stone floor out there, so stone floor, it's a goner, and then you have to clean up. So, and my son was just so, he was like, "I never saw anybody do that, mom. I'd been thinking the same thing. If you could have your lights separate from your big solar kit, it would just makes more sense." And I was like, "Yeah, oh, I've been doing this a long time." When I first came out here 12 years ago, it was dark out here sometimes. And I mean, with owls and animal sounds, and it was dark as crap. And I was like, I'm out here all by myself. There's nobody for 7, 10 miles, something like that, back in the day. And it was like, I need a light that's going to stay on. So, I started with Dollar Tree little 99-cent stake lights. That's what I started with. And then I bought enough so that once I started the fencing, so I had to lose an $1,100 tent to the free range cattle before I did the fencing. So learn from me. Have a perimeter fence around where you're staying if you're new to your off-grid place. And then you can move that later after you get more things together. But if you're in Arizona, especially in Apache County, free range cattle are no joke. So, they came when I was shopping and they hit those rebar stakes. And if they hadn't hit the stakes with a hoof, the tent would have been okay. But you do want a luminette that has air holes in it. And the reason is that you want the wind to go through it and not rip it off your roof. That's that's why. You want the wind to be able to go through. That's why shade cloth is so useful. because the air holes allow the wind to go through. It won't be perfectly waterproof, but that's not the thing we're trying to accomplish. The waterproof is when you look at tarps. Now I have a very good tarp that's right about 28-ish dollars that is waterproof and ripstop nylon. Now, ripstop nylon is heavier. If I was hiking, I would not carry it, but for car camping, carry it. Plus, it has grommets sewn into it. So, I mean, that's what's now on my back patio. Um, but that's why you want your shade cloth or your aluminette to have air holes, is so that wind can go through and it won't rip it off your however you've mounted it. Um, I feel like I was telling you something and I didn't finish, but if it's important, somebody tell me because I can't think of it right now. I need to get a drink of water, but the cups are in the shower house right now. I don't think I have. Wait, this isn't pretty, but I'm going to do it anyways. And since I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it in front of you, since I've told you already. I remembered that my little tea kettle near. I'll drink out of it. Why not? It's only me, and I can wash it. I know how. Because I have a sink with running water in a drain. Well, water pump and a drain. Woo! Yeah, the aluminette there were a lot of sizes. Aluminette can be horribly expensive. So hopefully you're getting the one that's more similar to what I had, because I found the one I did for under $40. And usually it used to be $100 for a tarp. By the way, if any of you get into the whole titanium pots thing, now I started this for two reasons. Okay, this is a Evernew titanium. Okay, this one is. I got into this for two reasons. If I had to hike, I can carry my pots. Basically, my basic whole kitchen, I can carry because it doesn't weigh hardly anything and it's really strong. Also, when I'm packing a little tiny car like my tracker, then my pots are so lightweight, it doesn't really affect the weight of things in my vehicle. The heaviest of my kitchen things is my refrigerator when it's full of food, or my cooler full of food. But the titanium, I was at one point having reactions to metal. I already know that if I can't even use surgical steel earrings, the holes in my ears will bleed within a few minutes. I'm pretty allergic. So all my earrings are sterling silver. Okay. And I would love, these are not, but I love real sterling silver and real pearls. That's what I would love. I grew up near the ocean. It's a thing. But sterling silver, I don't have any trouble with. Well, it took me a while to figure it out, but I don't have trouble with titanium. Another cool thing about titanium for pots and things for kitchen is that the flavors do not cook into the metal like some of the other metals. Now, for example, if you are boiling cowboy coffee in a pot, the next time you use the pot, everything's going to have a little bit of a coffee flavor to it. If you put garlic in a fry pan, sometimes the next time you use the fry pan, there's a little garlic in there, right? It doesn't happen with titanium, but you do have to learn how to cook with titanium because they get hot fast and they cool down pretty quickly too. So, but I don't have trouble drinking out of the titanium, and I would have my lip would break out and bleed if I did this, even with stainless steel. Can't drink out of a stainless steel cup. I can out of the enamel, but that's glass over steel. And so that's why I do a lot of enamel. Plus, I love how it cooks. And an enamel coffee pot, you keep the coffee pot for only the coffee because you season that just right. It makes the best coffee. Okay, I wasn't planning on talking about all that stuff, but yes, Iris, yes, cools down fast, very fast. And I'm a little pissed off at Hawa. No, at Phyllis. Phyllis wanted my titanium that I had with me the year after I got the minivan and I was being a mentor for someone else. She wanted my titanium pots that were a gift. And I had 2 saucepans that were Evanru saucepans. And I had a tea kettle, and I don't remember what else. Don't you know, she found a way to get those away from me. And she gave them to somebody. And the last time I saw those pots, I was driving away, and the person had old, rotten food outside their car in those pots. And I imagine that they probably threw them away. I have a collapsible Sea to Summit coffee mug. Oh, it's not in here. Do you want me to go get it? I have the Sea to Summit. I don't have the Yuko one. The Yuko one's nice, but it only folds like about this high, and the Sea to Summit folds shorter. So I got a Sea to Summit, but it is silicone. And, you know, I'd rather not have silicone in my life, but both of them are silicone. So I haven't found a better solution than because to have something that folds down anyways. So yeah, and Iris, that set of pots was a $200 set of pots. Now the tea kettle I probably paid $70 for. Yeah. Oh, you know, not everybody, whatever. Whatever. So so the so yeah, so the height of what they'd fold down to. See, I have this idea. Getting something. I'm over here. And my overland buddies think this is way too cool an idea. So I have a white Chevy Tracker, and I'm trying to get back to my Chevy Tracker travels someday. It's almost a year. Okay. So I found this. You guys know what this is? Basically, this is a first aid kit, an old first aid kit, right? Okay. And it's little, and it's old, and it's white, and it's metal. So I have this idea that I should turn this. Let me open it. So okay, you're gonna see Benadryl and stuff, but oh no, you're gonna see bandages. Okay. So the way these open, okay, everything's gonna fall a little bit. Is that as far as it goes? I think I need to check my hinges, okay? But this is vintage, okay? Vintagey. Anyway, when these open, this is a tabletop, right? Is a work surface. So I have another one that's blue. So I thought about doing this for each car, but I don't really care that much about Not that I don't care about the blue car. The blue car is just different. Anyways, so I've been telling my overland buddies for a while that I need to turn this into my mini bar or my mini coffee bar because I don't really drink alcohol much. You know, maybe once or twice a year. Passover, I'll have a sip of wine, or I might have a little tiny cup of wine, a small amount. Um, but and maybe during Feast of Tabernacles, I might have a coffee with Kahlua. I'm allergic to milk and dairy, so Kahlua doesn't have it in it, and it's really good in black coffee. Anyway, so I've been threatening to make this magnetic, you know how this thing works, but to make it magnetic and make it be either my coffee bar or my mini bar, right? And so I was hunting for, can I find a coffee cup that'll fold flat and go in here? And so the Cedar Summits do. Now the new Cedar Summits are a mix of silicone and stainless steel. And they don't fold as flat. I'm not sure I'm into that. They're just not the same. I like their original ones. Came in that little blue, that teal green I like, and I'm like, I just need two of those teal ones in here. And then instant coffee sticks from the more expensive kind, like Starbucks kind or something, right? Something cool. And little tiny mini bottle of Kahlua and a little mini bottle of maybe whiskey or something of that nature. That's what I'm wanting to do with this, and have it so that it would be even more cool if it still had a red X on it. I mean, a cross on it, because emergency mini bar, right? Because it's kind of a joke, but anyways, it's just a thing. So, but that's one of the reasons why I was okay. I'll fold that later. I'll fix it later. But so that was one of the reasons I was hunting for um, little folding cups. And of course, when Sonia bought me that other pour over coffee filter, the Soto one that looks like wire, that'll fit in there really nice, so I can have some nice coffee too. Anyway, and I also found this when I was in Nevada, and I think I paid $2 for it. And right now, it's got games in it. Like I don't even know how to play bananagrams. Okay, but I have them, and I play Scrabble with myself with the bananagrams, right? And then there's a couple of decks of cards in here. So this was another thing that I thought about turning into some cool kitcheny style specific, whether it was coffee or I love baskets too, Beth. Oh, and Beth, have you seen that guy? I don't know his name right now. I know he's on Instagram, and he's from that area of New Hampshire that's close to where I grew up. And he weaves baskets, and he's now teaching people. But he makes the pack baskets. I thought about having him make me a little pack basket with the hinged lid that could be the table, that could be kind of a lot of my kitcheny stuff. But I haven't decided, right? But this, again, I was thinking about how much kitchen or how much could this be the coffee kit or what? But I don't know where I want it to be put. Or does this just become the sewing kit here at the cabin and it stays on a shelf? It has a long handle. It has a long handle. But anyways, I know there's a lady in the P town. Ah, gotcha, gotcha. No, this is a man, and I knew his name. I don't know it right now. But anyways, he's doing really cool pack baskets and stuff. I used to weave baskets. So this is cool. This is cool. Now I've showed you the projects that I bumped into again this week going, oh wow. I should I should finish that. Yeah, let me do a couple more things. So I always planned to have a long shelf across the top of these windows. And these were these candles. Um, there's two of these. That one there. Um, I got those for Passover a couple years ago, 3 years ago maybe. And so I had bought the brackets so that they'd be the shelf brackets, thinking that the candles not I didn't know how long they would last. So so now I used to use those candles for when I wanted bigger lighting in here. Now I have the light inside. Yay. And it just comes on whenever I want it to. Little remote controls. Just ding, turn it on. And it's bright. And turn it off and it's gone. And you can change settings on that one too. But so now these can go somewhere else eventually. It's all good. It's all good. But when I get that shelf up there, which can happen faster now that some of these other things are getting done, then like I have this little mini sewing machine that came from like Japan or somewhere. I should have said Asia to be more PC. But that little sewing machine, a lot of people think they're toys because it can run on batteries or electric. It's low enough power that I can run it off my rock pals. Well, I can run it off the Bowdens, no problem. And it'll do basic sewing. I can't do 2 layers of denim. It doesn't do that well. But all these curtains in here, I did with that little plastic sewing machine. And that's light enough it can sit on that shelf. That's the goal. So that a lot of the storage things don't need to be in storage. They can be right up there in view all the time. It's just the way. That's it. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, and I just feel, Iris, I just feel like I'm not alone in this thing again. All the I have felt so alone in everything I've done for so many years. And I realize now I don't have to feel so freaking alone. What do you need, Miss Thing? What do you want? What do you want? Do you want a drink? Mama's having water. Miss Wendy probably is wanting me to like cook an actual breakfast because I didn't do that this morning. I'll cook something for a meal. I finally got full yesterday. I've been for quite some time again, off and on this happens. I've been so freaking hungry again. Like I just don't have enough food or something, or I'm not eating enough food. I drink a lot of coffee with coconut milk, and or sometimes I have honey, or sometimes I have something. Sometimes I don't have anything sweet to put in it. What I'm looking forward to is being able to buy the whole feast. They call it butter vanilla flavor. Um, the whole feast that I was getting when I was in Nevada. It's $64 for a bag of that. It's a protein powder, but it's really good. And I'm not allergic to it at all. But I can put that in my coffee and it's as if I'm eating a steak or something. You know, it's more like a meal. So Wendy, you so silly. You got to get on top of that duffel bag. You so silly. Okay, well, get comfortable. So, what I've been doing, there's no calories in it. And then I got a little low on money this month. Uh, uh, Something took a payment a month earlier than I thought it was going to. And so that was about $50. But there were two or three things that happened, and I just have to let it go. So it's been kind of a tight month. And uh, so I've been eating two quarter-pound hamburger patties, and we're not talking grass fed. We're just talking just regular grocery store burgers. So two for breakfast and two for dinner. Well, that's a pound of meat. And they usually say for somebody close to my size or the size I would like to be, they're saying a pound and a half to 2 pounds a day, right? Well, I'm only getting a pound and then drinking maybe 4 cups of coffee with coconut milk in it, which is only, I think it's 20 calories. So you figure another 100. I'm probably 800 calories or something, which isn't a lot in the sense of calories, which I don't like to count calories, but whatever, just as a way to talk about it. And so I've had the hunch that I probably just wasn't eating enough food. And that's probably why I'm so freaking hungry all the time. And another thing, she is eating her food. But then, okay, so uh, I also found out that part of my energy problem, if I eat a piece of fruit, I have better energy. And so that is a carb. And so I'm trying to watch that. But at the same time, I'm trying to let my body heal as much as it needs to. And so if I give it a little bit, oh my gosh, Mary, thank you. If I give it a little bit of something, right, then then a little bit of carbs seems to make a really big difference in how my energy feels. So I've started having lettuce with my hamburger when I can afford it, right? Although if I buy lettuce at, I'm trying to grow, trying to, I got some started, but it's not big enough to eat yet. But and boy, the rabbits got into some of my gardening. But anyway, um, if I go to St. John's to the IGA, the market in St. John's, to buy romaine lettuce is $5 a head. I'm like, that's crazy, you people. So, so, but I have found I do really well. I can wrap lettuce around my hamburger patty, and I feel so much more energized and I feel like I'm not deprived the same. And then I tried things like I tried a um, melon one, the melon. Anyways, I tried a melon the other day. I got a little one, couple dollars, and the protein powder. I'm not sure if I put it in my store. It's called the Whole Feast. It includes grass-fed and finished beef bone protein powder, but it also has organ meats in it and things. So look at the ingredients and make sure it's for you. Okay. But I have a couple of people who have ordered it and are really happy I turned them on to that company and everything. So um, I need to become an affiliate for them because as an affiliate for a lot of these companies, I'll get mine cheaper. I won't get it a lot, but a little bit. So I love them. I need to call and it's a small company. I need to call and talk to the owners a little bit because I mean, I've got crazy allergies and I have technically an autoimmune disease, and having them behind me on my channel wouldn't hurt. And it would, if I can get mine a little cheaper by helping other people get theirs, that's, a little help. Anyway, um, so yeah, so I tried melon the other day, and it was so good. I was only going to eat half of it, and I got a little one. I'm talking about the size of my hands, right? Little one. And I thought, oh, I'm only going to eat half. I'll save half for later. And I got into it, and I was like, no, forget that. I'm eating the whole thing. So I ate the whole thing. It was so good. And I put the seeds in a compost pile. Maybe they'll volunteer. But that was so good. And my energy and my body felt so much different for that whole next little bit of time, maybe say for another whole day. And I was like, okay, we can do melon again. Melon was a good one. So I'll be watching these things. As I test my own body, I'll be watching these things. I did find out I don't have any trouble with potatoes, but I think that I could maybe gain weight on potatoes different. Maybe it's the carb count. I don't know the answer. I did find some information the other day that maybe I'll do better with sunflower seed butter than I did with tahini and other things. So I want to test the sunflower butter again. But I haven't tested it yet. But I'm thinking about this month buying some to test it. But kind of cool that I was really hungry yesterday, and it didn't matter. I'd eaten my two hamburgers for breakfast. Then I had two for lunch. And I was like, I'm still hungry. And I cooked one more. And of course, when I'm cooking them, a part of them is going to Wendy for her food too. But so I was at 5 burgers yesterday. This is, I'm not eating bread and stuff, but I was like, I'm still hungry. So Josh had left a couple of cans of tuna fish and some of the dehydrated hash brown potatoes. What are those things called? You know what I'm talking in the little carton. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Dollar General has them for $1 a piece. And when he found out that I knew I had eaten some and I didn't react to it, he was like, let's put some more of those in your storage just in case. Well, I took the tuna fish and those hungry Jack, something Jack, whatever they are, hash brown potatoes. And I rehydrated the potatoes. By the way, the only ingredients in that is baking soda. I looked it up. It's called by a different name, but it's a different name for baking soda. So it's white potatoes and baking soda. I'm like, okay. So I rehydrated those and then mixed them with tuna fish and cooked it and ate that for dinner last night. And I wasn't hungry this morning. So I've had 1 cup of coffee this morning and I was fine. And so Wendy hunting for food, she just ate what was out, but I'm not hungry. Did you have enough? Do you need another piece? Do you want another treat? Yeah. She comes up to me and she licks her lip. She knows this kind of licking her lips is, Mama, I want food. So, well, you ate all of that stuff. How about you get one of these pepperonis while Mommy's finishing up the video? You want one of these? Let's give you, these are made so that you can tear them in pieces. And my son said, they're made with these little indentations in them so you can break them off and use them for training treats. That's what we got them for. She's listening to the words come much better than she was before Josh came. Would you like that? You can have it. Go ahead. Good girl. And I don't make her do tricks to get her treats. We have a way we do things. So, okay. So the protein powder. Okay. I pay attention to my body. Why am I good at listening to my body's response because I didn't have anybody to help me and I couldn't trust other people. So I learned how to listen to my own body because nobody's helping me. They're busy helping everybody else. What? What do you want? Do you want to go outside or you just want to come up? Huh? Can I have a kissy kiss? Can I have a kissy kiss? You're looking. The kitties are sleeping. It's their nap time during the day. And at night, they come out at night and in the morning. Johnny's, go away. Okay, there we go. So we did good. We're at our 2 hours. You guys get 2 hours of my day. Well, and the half hour before and all the thinking I do afterwards, right? Um, what a big, I keep saying and using the freaking word. What a big freaking, freaking blessing and change. Just having the water pump and the shower. Oh my goodness, what a big, well, and the solar. I mean, I don't even have to touch the freezer. So I'm imagining when I can find my little plastic baggies that make ice cubes again. I can make ice cubes again. When I go shopping close to payday, I'm going to be able to fill this as a freezer. I'm going to go to Walmart and I'm going to have a pickup order. And if they've got it, I'm getting 2 of those good ice creams. And I'm getting, I don't know, 4 or 6 of the uh, festival turkey breakfast sausage. Oh, yeah. I'm, because it works now. That's okay. That's okay, Beth. We got it. But what a blessing. And yes, in kind of a thought process, of course, as I'm making these changes and do things and all these little projects, of course, I'm in the back of my mind. So as the tracker project progresses, as that starts to be being worked on, how much extra do I want to get done? Right. So working on that. Yes, bags that make ice cubes. Yes. Will I share? Yes, Miko. Those did come from Japan. I found them on Amazon. I don't think I put those into the store. I don't think I had a chance. Yes. It's way cool. I didn't even know about such a thing. I was checking out some overlander. Ooh, woohoo. Jeremy just texted me. Our friend Corey and his wife Haley are on the way to the hospital. Haley's water just broke. The baby. This is going to be their first baby, and it's on its way. So I get to be like Aunt Lesa to this baby. Um, so I was watching some Australian overlanders things for some ideas, and I saw somebody saying that they were making ice in their little refrigerator, and I was like, that's hard to do. I That's hard to do. And Miko, I gotta find it. Um, you're in my group in Facebook. Let me try to find that and put it out on the group in Facebook because I don't think I put it. I'm fairly certain I didn't put it in the store, and I I will have to look in my orders on Amazon to find that. I wanted to test them and make sure they worked before I put them in my store. I'm a little picky about that. I want you guys to be able to trust me in a lot of ways. And sure, there's stuff I could put out in the Amazon store that are like, these are good ideas, but I want things that I they're not just good ideas. I want to know they actually work. I love iced coffee in the afternoon. I could have one cup of coffee in the morning if I can have a good icy iced coffee in the afternoon, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That be part of my day. That's fine with me. Yeah. So, and I'm finding out for whoever wants to know, but I'm finding out that I tried the Danger coffee. It's expensive, first off. It's like $25 for 10 ounces, I think. I'm like, it's good, but it's not like Costa Rican good. Okay. Like I lived in the coffee feels good, right? But even though I know there's mold and stuff in coffee in the United States, Folgers coffee's fine. And I've been lately able to get the small containers of Folgers for about $6 at Dollar General. And I've been getting the one that's got hazelnut. And for some reason, I'm into that right now, whatever. Plus, the flavors that Sonia sent me that were she sent me two flavors that were from Nolan's, and that those both were really good. I really enjoyed those. So yeah, and yes, yes, Miko, that small freezer space, these little bags, this is the bomb. I'll hunt it up. I'll get it into Facebook. Y'all got me a couple of jobs for this afternoon. Like I said, after all this talking, I often am just tired and I don't do much all afternoon. Sometimes I'll put a couple videos on and then I'll just kind of vegetate all day. I won't do any big projects because I don't feel like it. Although I probably should just go for a walk. I don't quite have my go for a walk thing down. I haven't all winter. So that's something I'm going to work on. There's another project that's in the works. I want to make myself a path that's on my own property that however I walk it can end up being about a mile. So whether it's a half mile and then you turn around and come back, I have 10 acres, so it's possible. Plus, there's quite a ravine down into the canyon. So the fact that you can do the up and down, I want to make a nice hiking path that gives me a place on my own property to walk every day. That would be nice. So a path has always been in my mind. But now that my son's been here, he was like, "Oh, mom, that's a great idea." And a couple other people have come to visit this year and said the same thing. That would be awesome sauce. So that's that'll happen eventually. I know. I just feel encouraged by the fact that I don't have to make all the decisions alone anymore. Um, and that my ideas aren't stinky. I don't think my ideas are stinky, but sometimes, when all you have is what's in your own mind, you're like, what am I doing with this? Why am I doing that? Why am I working so hard to make that little pump work again when it used to leak? My son even fixed it so that it doesn't leak. So, wow. And so what that the construction is not Okay, so the shower house is not square and it's not level and it's not, but who cares? It's a camp, like a summer camp shower house. And as long as it functions, that's the part that's more important. And I know how to make this pretty. Once it gets time to get to finding paint, and of course, the outside of it will become similar to the outside of the cabin, that gray and white look that's a little bit beach cottage look. We'll be doing that. But inside the shower house can be other, it can be fun, it can be colors, it can be, I don't know what it'll be yet. The old mirror, even though it's chipped and everything else on the edges where it had filigree stuff once upon a time, I imagine that either being super bright shiny white or really turquoisey Caribbean blue or something. I can imagine some bright yellow in there. I don't even know, but I think it'll be fun. And like I said, I've got two more pieces of that copper roofing that can be backsplashes, or if I do the little wood stove, can be behind the wood stove. This can be fun, and it can be like, it could be fun. It's gonna be fun. And so Miko, yes, I'll put that out on the group on Facebook. And if I'm not being fast enough, Miko, send me a message. I'll do it faster if I forget. Um, so are we good? We're at almost 2 hours and a half ish. I think I'm with Wendy. I'm getting dry, kind of done talking. And I think I'll make some lunch. I Because I hadn't been hungry, but just now I was like, yeah, I could probably have some lunch. Go outside for a while. Tonight I'm washing my hair. I didn't want to do that yet. You know, when you said that, Beth, kind of reminds me of IKEA colors, but it would be different because I'm gonna pull that Caribbean look in there or something. Um, because wow, I mean, all I got to do is play with that stuff. That's the fun part. But the floor is gonna be those paver stones, and anywhere where the paver stones don't quite fit, I'll figure it out and do something. Or when I do the like grout with the paver stones, and I do it with cement to put the drain in, then I can, because it's not IKEA. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, oh, and my little twinkle light, they're not twinkle lights, but my little lights around the hammock area, they've stopped working. Bummer. I need to take a screwdriver out, find out if it's a battery. Because if I can replace the battery and they still work, yay. If they don't, then I'm gonna put a set of those in my wish list too. Because I miss having those little sparkle lights at nighttime. That's nice. I think it was 100 foot roll of those mini lights. But yeah, because it's not IKEA, it's me. But how fun is that? The cabin is so basic, nice but basic, right? That we can have fun in the shower house. The shower house can get like decorated with cool whatever. It can be fun, not just basic. But the cabin is more practical and basic because originally I really wanted this to be, we could set about 6 rocking chair um uh fireside rockers from GCI in here, and have a little class or a meeting or something. That was Originally, I didn't even know if I'd sleep in here because I like sleeping in my vehicles. Thank you. Y'all have a wonderful day. Enjoy your week. Pray for each other. Remember Haley and Corey as they're having their baby, please. Remember Jeremy, who's still going through a lot of family stuff. I mean, he's had 2 deaths in the family this year. And and uh and I love Jared, but he drinks a little bit more than anyway. Um, Remember, Miko evidently is having some struggles with Toyota Sunraider, I believe, and Catherine and Homer because they're like going through their stuff. My son, as he goes back to work, how about we pray for my son to get more reasonable vacations? They're trying to. He only took 7 days off, not 2 weeks. And that's all they want to give him all year. And they're now trying to punish all of the guys who keep the factory running. They're trying to punish them by now not allowing them to have as much overtime or something else just because Josh took a vacation. And I believe it because they don't know how Josh fixes some of the things he fixes. And when he and I were working together, I was like, you don't have to me, that's common sense. You don't have to explain that to me. And he goes, I have to explain it to everybody. How can you know this? You're not a mechanic. And I'm like, it's common sense. I get it's okay, Josh. And we had to work through I'm feeling like he's talking to me like I'm, I don't know what, like I'm young, right? And he's like, but I'm not. I have to explain it to I can't believe you know this stuff, Mom. So there's something about our education level or our sense of common sense, because come on, my son and I have had some interaction over the years. But basically, I had him until 2 weeks before his 10th birthday. So most of our history is from way back then. So it's kind of interesting. So pray for him too, that they give him more appropriate vacations before he like hightails it. He can't just quit and leave. There's stuff going on, but anyways, pray for everybody. Have a good week. Y'all have a good week. And I will see you next Sunday, I hope, long as nothing comes up in between. Y'all have a great one. Hugs. Ciao.